Thank you so much, dear devotees, for a very kind welcome. I'm very grateful to be back with you. It's such a beautiful therapy place. I feel Prabhupada mentioned that ISKCON is a hospital for the conditioned souls who are diseased. We are all diseased. We came here out of a big mistake we have done. We have come to the material world and became very, very ill, and we have to become cured. So I'm so grateful to be with all of you, to be in a cure place, because I must say, to be there with my mother, it's so wonderful and it's necessary. Yeah, it's a challenge. So I thank you so much for accepting me, someone other, and I pray for your blessings to say something of any value. So we will say the mantra before we read from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Today we will read Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, 3rd canto, chapter 25. Text 21. Some very beautiful verses glorifying the devotees. So, Itikshava Karunika Sudhira Sarvadehinam Ajata Shatravashanta Sadhava Sadhubhushana. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The symptoms of a sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful, and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies, he is peaceful, he abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. Purport. A sadhu, as described above, is a devotee of the Lord. His concern, therefore, is to enlighten people in devotional service to the Lord. That is his mercy. He knows that without devotional service to the Lord, human life is spoiled. A devotee travels all over the country from door to door preaching, "Be Krishna conscious, be a devotee of Lord Krishna. Don't spoil your life in simply fulfilling your animal propensities. Human life is meant for self-realization or Krishna consciousness." These are the preachings of a sadhu. He is not satisfied with his own liberation. He always thinks about others. He is the most compassionate personality towards all the fallen souls. One of his qualifications, therefore, is karunika, great mercy to the fallen souls. While engaged in preaching work, he has to meet with so many opposing elements, and therefore the sadhu or devotee of the Lord has to be very tolerant. Someone may ill-treat him because the conditioned souls are not prepared to receive the transcendental knowledge of devotional service. They do not like it. That is their disease. The sadhu has the thankless task of impressing upon them the importance of devotional service. Sometimes devotees are personally attacked with violence. Lord Jesus Christ was crucified, Haridas Thakur was caned in 22 marketplaces, and Lord Chaitanya's principal assistant Nityananda was violently attacked by Jagai and Madhai. But still, they were tolerant because their mission was to deliver the fallen souls. One of the qualifications of a sadhu is that he is very tolerant and is merciful to all fallen souls. He is merciful because he is the well-wisher of all living entities. He is not only a well-wisher of human society, but a well-wisher of animal society as well. It is said here, Sarvadehinam, which indicates all living entities who have accepted material bodies. Not only does the human being have a material body, but other living entities such as cats and dogs also have material bodies. The devotee of the Lord is merciful to everyone, the cats, dogs, trees, etc. He treats all living entities in such a way that they can ultimately get salvation from this material entanglement. Shivananda Sena, one of the disciples of Lord Chaitanya, gave liberation to a dog by treating the dog transcendentally. There are many instances where a dog got salvation by association with a sadhu, because a sadhu engages in the highest philanthropic activities for the benediction of all living entities. Yet although a sadhu is not inimical towards anyone, the world is so ungrateful that even a sadhu has many enemies. What is the difference between an enemy and a friend? It is a difference in behavior. A sadhu behaves with all conditioned souls for their ultimate relief from material entanglement. Therefore, no one can be more friendly than a sadhu in relieving a conditioned soul. A sadhu is calm, and he quietly and peacefully follows the principles of scripture. A sadhu means one who follows the principles of scripture and at the same time is a devotee of the Lord. One who actually follows the principles of scripture must be a devotee of God, because all the Shastras instruct us to obey the orders of the personality of Godhead. Sadhu, therefore, means a follower of the scriptural injunction and a devotee of the Lord. All these characteristics are prominent in a devotee. A devotee develops all the good qualities of the demigod, whereas a non-devotee, even though academically qualified, has no actual good qualifications or good characteristics according to the standard of transcendental realization. Thank you so much. I will read translation again. Okay, Hare Krishna, better. Did you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The symptoms of a sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful, and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies, he is peaceful, he abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravadi Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachitade Shakarine. So wonderful to see all of you, Hare Krishna. And try to maybe we are all meant to become sadhus. This is our desire. This is what is our goal, to become sadhu, because sadhu is a spiritual practitioner, somebody who recognizes that actually I am not this body. I'm eternal living being, and somehow or another I have been trapped by this material energy, and it's a very hard time for me. And it's maybe time now I have gotten a human form of life, and I have the door to liberation. It's said to be open in human form of life. So I have a great opportunity to actually realize who I am in all eternity and what is my eternal relationships in the spiritual world with the Lord and all other living beings. So this is so extremely important to understand. So this is a sadhu, somebody who understands that okay, this body and this life, it's important to the degree it helps me to come closer to that eternal goal. So that's why we take care of the body, we take care of our mind, we take care of our emotions, of our needs, but with the purpose, with the higher purpose in mind, that actually this life is extremely important and valuable, and let me use it. This is in my best self-interest, and any intelligent person is minding one's own self-interest. It's only basically the people who are very severely mentally disturbed and damaged, they are harming themselves. It's a very unfortunate condition. But any sane person, intelligent person, minds one's own self-interest. And the best self-interest is to invest all of our energy and time and any capacity we have in order to make spiritual advancement to the eternal goal. And for that, we are, as it is stated in this verse, we are practicing the scriptural injunctions, because scriptural injunctions are the guide how to really be properly connected. Because even though we may have our desire, our emotion, our mood may be there in a proper way. I want to make spiritual advancement. I want to go back to Godhead. I want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem anymore. I have gotten enough. One may be frustrated. One may be really have very, very wonderful spiritual attitude in one's heart. But if at the same time we are not properly connected, so we create a lot of obstacles on our path. That's why the scriptural injunctions are there to protect us and guide us how to actually, in the smoothest possible way, achieve our goal. So it's again, we said it many times, that Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion, the connection to the Supreme in devotion, it's the synonyms of Bhakti Yoga, it's Buddhi Yoga. And Buddhi from Sanskrit means intelligence. That actually we have to be intelligent, not only devotional, the devotion has to be guided by higher intelligence given by scriptures. How to properly act so that my path will be smooth. That's why we are vegetarians. We try to harm not only like animals, insects. I just spoke with one person who is very knowledgeable in Shastra, Vedic scriptures, and he told that for example, different diseases in human life, they have their often subtle cause and karmic cause also that we know. But also, for example, if one mistreats the insects, one will get some health issue in one part of the body. He was explaining, all the details. It's just amazing. Life is so subtle. So whatever we are experiencing, good or bad, it's simply reaction to something which we have done, either good or bad. So we are trying to not to harm anybody. Just first, the basic knowledge is that we will have to suffer for it. We will not avoid any painful reaction for that, especially as devotees. Because Krishna, as a spiritual practitioner, is very, very careful about each and every one who is on the path. Because in Bhagavad Gita, he explains that there are, incredible amount of living entities in the material world. What to speak about our little universe? It is said that our universe is one of the smallest, or could be the smallest one. And how many living entities are there? And from those living entities who are, let us say, in our little universe, the smallest one, how many are interested in spiritual life? It's just, there is no number. There is a number, but it's impossible to even mention that number. And from those who are interested in a spiritual life, how many are actually wanting to become really devotees of the Lord? Just not interested in becoming God, and just merge with the Supreme, but really in all humility and love devote one's whole existence in the service of the Lord. So there are so few. So those who are on that path are just incredibly small, tiny little amount of living entities, and Krishna is so extremely keen on helping us to achieve our goal. It took us millions and millions of lifetimes. This is the word of my spiritual master. I'm not speculating. Sometimes it is said, creation after creation, we have been here in this material world. And now finally we have come here. We are already sitting here in the temple room. Just really, the door is so wide open. So Krishna is so keen that we really make it, how to say, in this life. So that's why he is sometimes giving to devotees bigger reactions, let us say, for whatever we are not doing so well, just to help us, to correct us. Out of his love, there is never any kind of punishment on the side of the Lord. There is always just mercy and love. But sometimes the mercy and love is expressed in a way that it's maybe not so comfortable for us. And we as small children, we are like saying, oh Krishna, why are you doing this to me? Why do I have to suffer like that? Because they don't understand that mother and father, they care so much. They see, okay, now my child is really misbehaving here, and that will be bad for him or her. So that's why I need to protect. So that's what we are experiencing. So that's why in our best self-interest is to follow the words of Shastra, the injunctions, because we are on a smooth path. We are not creating further obstacles. We have done them enough. Sometimes a devotee has to even be devotee for lifetimes, life after life after life, and still not being able to go back to Godhead. And this is so painful to Krishna. There is a very wonderful passage in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam where demigods, I forgot now actually the exact occasion, but there was some demon appearing in this material world and creating a lot of havoc, as demons are always destructive personalities. So even demigods had no chance to somehow or other control that demoniac force, and they became helpless, and they went ultimately to the Supreme Lord to ask for help. And the Lord appears to them and speaks to them. And in that speech, he first explains to them, yeah, you're my devotees, I love you so much, I will help you, I will support you, of course. But, and now he starts speaking some very interesting words. Now he says, but at the same time, you're my devotees. But at the same time, you're causing pain to my heart. I'm not pleased with you because you are maintaining the desire to stay here in this material world. You are maintaining the desire to be my devotees, to be on the part of solution, let us say, to be good people, to help the Lord, to serve the Lord, but you are not willing to go back to Godhead. You are attached to your, at the same time, side effects of bhakti. There are many side effects. You get your enjoyments in different ways, opulences, all kinds of things. So you are interested in that as well. You are interested in me, but as well as these things. So that's why you are causing pain to my heart. Why? Because for you to be staying here in this material world is, for anyone, is a dangerous place. It is said in the Shastra, there is a danger at every step, for everybody, even for demigods. We know the cases that they can be cursed, they can do something wrong even there in the heavenly planets, and they can fall down to those pig species. For example, like Indra became a pig at one point. Anyway, so there is a danger at every step for everybody. And that's why Krishna told them, Lord Vishnu, when he appeared to the demigods, he said, because you maintain these material desires, you are endangering that you will again have to go to this whole cycle of samsara, down to the lowest ant or microbe. No criticism, it's just a necessary species also, but it's very painful for Krishna, for his heart, because he loves all of us, and if we are already so close to our way back to him, as we are now, or in a demigod life, or whatever, we are very close. So let us really take advantage of that and make it. And for that, there is a certain price, there are certain restrictions. I have been, now just a little side comment, when I am in Prague, when I go with my mother, because she is 90 years old and she has kind of more and more difficulties, so we go by taxi at certain things which we have to arrange with her, because she can't travel anymore. Like that. And there is a certain person who is her taxi driver, let us say, and who makes some discount and like that. And that taxi driver, I was preaching to him since quite some time, and he got some books on Śrīmad Prabhupada. In the beginning, he was sort of a little bit interested, but now, and we had some little discussion in a car, and he said, yes, but God restricts one. Like a little angry, why should I go to God? Because he restricts me. And I said, yes, there is a restriction, but that restriction is for my benefit, for our benefit. So that we have to understand. So we have to be intelligent. And then when we follow that beautiful path of spiritual liberation, we will be more and more enlightened. There is a beautiful verse which we were reciting together now. Om Gyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Amilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namo Namaha. So the spiritual master enlightens the disciple, enlightens with the sword of knowledge, cuts off all these obstacles and ignorances, and puts us in light. And in light, when we are in light, so that consciousness which we were describing today in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is simply our rightful claim. It's just part of the soul. The soul naturally, the symptoms of a sadhu, a person who has become enlightened, are that he is tolerant, he is very merciful and friendly to all living beings. He has no enemies, he is peaceful, he abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. Once they were asking Srila Prabhupada, who are your devotees, Srila Prabhupada? And he said, how we can recognize who is your devotee? And he replied, my devotees are perfect ladies and gentlemen. So in that light, I very much apologize. I'm still not a devotee of Srila Prabhupada, but I'm hoping one day to become. But yes, in enlightened state, we are perfect ladies and perfect gentlemen, perfect, wonderful spiritual personalities who are very merciful. How sadhu, like Srila Prabhupada here in the purport, he writes that the world is so ungrateful that even such personalities like Lord Jesus are very, very pure, wonderful personalities who are simply minding only the benefit of all others, never caring for themselves, just giving love, giving affection, giving service. How is it that they become, people murder them? People simply wanted to get rid of them. Yes, because they are going against the stream of this material world. So the sadhu is actually going against that stream. The stream of the material world is just, I am God, I want to enjoy at any cost and remove everybody who is in my way, whatever, no matter how. This is a tamaguna, and a rajaguna. Mode of darkness, mode of passion, simply ignorance, we don't understand better. But the sadhu is simply trying to enlighten and uplift everybody. But because he is going against that stream and he is reminding of people of something which they don't want. So that's why sometimes even such a great pure devotees are, there is assassination attempts, and sometimes people succeed even with the desire to the Lord sanctioned it for certain purposes. But how is it that such a personality, such a well-wisher of everybody, such a merciful, kind and tolerant person can be like that, even though being attacked, even though being hated, even though being really subjected to so much tortures? Yes, so he or she understands that we are not this body. And the Lord is behind everything and still never gives up. This is just so wonderful. Actually, if we contemplate this quality of a sadhu, of a great Vaishnava, that the person never gives up on that hope to help others, even though while being so mistreated. Because that devotee has like a Prahlad Maharaj, for example, a wonderful example. Prahlad Maharaj has been tortured by his father in countless ways. But he never gave up on being well-wisher of his father, even of that person who tortured him. Not to speak about all other living entities. He was Saragrahi. There is a Sanskrit verse particularly related to describe that Prahlad Maharaj is Saragrahi, because what this means, Saragrahi from Sanskrit, Graha is a planet or a gravitation, and Sara means that which is eternal and basically the essence. So Prahlad Maharaj was in his consciousness, in his heart, he was gravitating towards the essence. So it means that he never saw others as their bodies, and identified their mistreatment as just, oh, this is a bad person, this is a demon. Okay, we can recognize. But at the same time, one still understands what is the desire of the Lord. The desire of the Lord is that everybody becomes Krishna conscious and goes back home, back to Godhead, in whatever nightmare condition and total ignorance one may be. Okay, of course, Shastra advises us, for example, in relation to Prahlad Maharaj, he was on that high level that he could preach to the demoniac father, and Shastra advises us that we are supposed to be Madhyamadikaris, so act on the Madhyamadikari platform. It means that we are discriminating. Okay, this is a demon, we are not on that level to preach to them, but we are still never giving up on being well-wisher to everybody. We wish well to everybody, but from some we have to keep a distance. And to the innocent, we are trying to somehow not uplift them, and and ignorant people, we are trying to uplift them, but to a certain degree. If they are just too much violent, too much envious, hateful, we avoid. So yes, Saragrahi means that we see that essence, that everybody is a spirit soul, and everybody deserves Krishna's love. Let me try from distance, but most of people are not demoniac actually. Most of the people are not like that, like Hiranyakashipu. They are belonging to the innocent category. They are just simply misled by the demoniac culture we are living in. So we are trying to somehow or other help them to connect more and more to Krishna consciousness. And for that we have to be, of course, connected ourselves. We have to practice, we have to be charged up, thus I charge our soul with the batteries of the holy name, of association of devotees, of reading Shastra. And when we are charged up, then we can have this beautiful vision of affection for everybody. Yes, so this is a beautiful words of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, which are guiding us how to treat everybody. This point also that sadhu has no enemies. In spite of, in the same purport, Srila Prabhupada explains how many enemies sadhu may have. So that means that actually sadhu or Vaishnava does not see them as enemies. Does not, even though maybe mistreated and so many things, but does not perceive them in this way. Sees, okay, this is just a bewildered soul who is simply acting as an instrument of my karma. Devotee always takes this very humble approach. Okay, I deserve to suffer in this way. There is something I have done, maybe to this person, maybe to another person, but Krishna is now just simply helping me to pay off, let us say, to release these karmic reactions, and never blames the person and just tries to somehow or other wish well, at least wish well to that person. So that's why sadhu has no enemies, like Yudhishthir, Maharaj Yudhishthir, one of the Pandava brothers. One of his names was Shatrava. Ajatashatru. Thank you so much, Mati. Ajatashatru. Yeah, a person who has been born with no enemies, even though Maharaj Yudhishthir had millions of enemies who wanted to kill him on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, headed by Duryodhana. But still, he never saw anybody as his enemy. It's just such a wonderful, wonderful consciousness. So, yes, that protects us. Shastra, again, in this verse and purport of Srila Prabhupada, gives us wonderful guidance how to be protected in our consciousness on our path. Because if we are not in our consciousness in this way, and we start blaming and we start accusing, then we simply entangle ourselves again furthermore. Because it is said also in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam in the first canto, there is a beautiful description given in the past times when Dharma, the bull, was attacked together with Mother Earth as a mother cow. They appeared in the form of a cow and bull, and they were attacked by Kali. Kali personified came, who is actually behind most of the horrible things which are happening in this age. Kali and his assistants are really working very, very hard. They are not lazy. They have their mission to degrade everybody, going down to hell. This is their mission, actually given by the Lord, and they are also, this is a part of the Lord's let us say, desire or a plan, but this is not the topic of today's lecture. So Kali appeared, and he wanted to kill, basically, or harm the bull and cow. They were bleeding, they were severely harmed. Bull was standing just on one leg, shaking. The last leg of religion is truthfulness, so even that was attacked severely, but he was still somehow or another shakingly standing on that leg. And then Maharaj Parikshit, the most wonderful, most pious Raja Rishi, a king, a pure devotee of the Lord, came and asked, "Who has done this to you? How are you so in such a terrible condition? How is it possible?" And Dharma the bull never pointed to Kali. He was just standing there. Kali was standing there, dressed in a kingly robe, pretending that he was a king, even though he was a rogue, number one. And Dharma the bull never said, "This is that person." And he started to list all kinds of personal situations which might be the possibility for me being so attacked. And it is explained by Srila Prabhupada and by Śrīmad Bhāgavatam that if we, a very wonderful, very incredibly important guiding lesson, if we blame the perpetrator, let us say somebody of us may have some perpetrator, somebody who causes us harm, and we blame that person, and we start accusing, even in our mind, it's very hard actually, but it's incredible wisdom. We are getting the same reaction as that person will get or is getting for harming us. We will get the same reaction for that. Please let us understand it deeply. I'm preaching to myself. It is really a very high wisdom, high consciousness. How we are warned for not blaming anybody for anything. We can only actually justifyingly blame ourselves, because that is the enlightened consciousness. This is the enlightened state that my pain is my karma. It's not the mistake of that person. But it may be something between that person and Krishna, why that person behaves like that, how he gets or she gets reactions. This is between Krishna, and it's not my business. I just know this is my karma. I apologize for that, and I'm happy that now it's going out, the reaction, and I'm being released from that. And I know at the same time that Krishna, for his devotees, minimizes those reactions so much. It should have been so much worse. So at the same time, I, with gratitude, serve the Lord, that He is so kind and He's giving me just so little, and trying to somehow or other make a permanent solution to the problem of being in this most painful material world, where everybody is meant to cry. So, yeah. So that verse, this is from 10th canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, which are now, I paraphrase this verse. This is that verse that Tenukam Pansa Sumikshamano, which Lord Brahma, the creator, a secondary creator on behalf of Krishna, of this universe, he just speaks this verse for our enlightenment, that if we want to go back to Godhead, it will become our rightful claim, if we somehow or another just develop this beautiful consciousness of, again, not blaming anybody, anything, any situation, but taking full responsibility for my suffering, and at the same time, with eagerness and gratitude, serving Krishna, being my wonderful master, that he, in spite of me being sinful and bad, that's why the proof of it is that I'm suffering. It's not a chance. Still, in maybe previous lives, we have done so much, we don't know. We have been simply entangled here in this material world, but the Lord is never judging us. He is simply trying to uplift us. So we are thanking Him with deepest gratitude in our heart, that we can, in spite of everything, we can serve Him. In spite of whatever we have done, we are forgiven. The proof that we are forgiven is that we are connected to Him, and He is giving us the holy name. He is giving us association of devotees. So with deepest gratitude in our heart, we serve Him. And when we have that consciousness of gratitude and service, and not blaming, no judging, then we go back to Godhead. So actually, in one sense, sometimes it is sad to go back to Godhead. Oh, it's so difficult. We may think, oh, I have to do this and that, and give up this, and I don't know how many lifetimes of tapasya, and I have to undergo. No, this verse just says, by Lord Brahma, merciful enlightenment, to go back to Godhead. This is the price. This is the price. So everybody can do that. It's just a matter of becoming enlightened. That's why we pray to Guru to enlighten us. We are trying our best to serve, to chant, to do everything that Guru enlightens us and helps us to, in our heart, have this attitude. Yeah. So thank you so much for listening so kindly. If there is any comment or question, I will be extremely grateful.
I remember how Hiranyakashipu was treating his son, 5 years old little boy. I think you were 5 years old.
Yeah. Six.
I won't. And I mean, it was too much. And I heard one lecture, he said that there was one thought that Prahlad Maharaj had, and that was, I couldn't understand what kind of, my father is playing so strange games with me, what he's doing, I don't understand. He's playing with me, but I don't understand his ways of playing with me. Wow. Such a great soul,
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, you just mentioned that we need to blame ourselves. Yes, we do. But how to get rid of that feeling of forgiving ourselves? It's so difficult because you take the blame on yourself and then you think that you are like full of so many anarthas. We are. But how do you forgive yourself then?
Very, very important question. Thank you so much, Mataji, for that. So extremely important. Yeah, extremely important. Because if we are we are in the mood of forgiveness to everybody, but not to ourselves, that's not complete, and it harms us ourselves. And unfortunately, many of us have that have that attitude, and that really we put a lot of pain unnecessarily on ourselves by that lack of forgiveness, and sometimes beating ourselves and I'm so bad, and we are like blocking our way to Krishna because of that. So it's very, very important. As much as we forgive others, we forgive ourselves as well. And the consciousness is that we have to actually, sometimes even there is an Ayurvedic mantra. I heard from one Ayurvedic doctor that you wake up in the morning, you are in the bed, and before you open your eyes, you can you just in your in this consciousness in between of vacant state and sleep, in that like in between consciousness, you are simply programming yourself. For those who have that issue, especially, Krishna loves me. I am fully accepted by the Lord. And just you can repeat it even several times. It's really healing, and we have to understand that this is the truth. This is the reality, that Krishna is really, as I mentioned, never judging us for that which we have done, and ready to enlighten and uplift everybody. But to speak of those who are already on the path and trying to somehow or another follow as much as we can. So Krishna loves us so infinitely. We just have to sometimes maybe even remind daily ourselves of that fact, how much Krishna loves us, how much proof is that we are already here. If we are still doubtful, even though we should not be doubtful, he does it to actually everybody. The karma and all these things, the whole material creation is there just to help each and every soul, even in the insect species, in microbe species, to go up and to go back to him. So what to speak about the devotees? As I said before, Bhagavad Gita explains that very clearly, gives this vision, how Krishna is keen on each and every devotee, and how much bad we might have been. I don't know, definitely not you, but it does not matter for Krishna. It really, proof is we are here. You can just say, okay, prove that Krishna loves me is that I'm here. I have the holy name. I have the association. And let me just be grateful to the Lord, and don't think about these about our bad qualities. It's also a very important thing, because sometimes devotees have that misunderstanding that I will become purified by beating myself, by listing my bad qualities. Because sometimes we also read in Shastra, like for example Chaitanya Charitamrita, our most wonderful Krishna as Kaviraj Goswami. He sometimes speaks about himself, like I'm lower than a worm in a stool, I'm lower than Jagai and Madhai. But these statements, I actually once asked one spiritual master about that. It's a really, really extremely important topic, Mataji. Thank you for bringing it up. Because sometimes, even in the Shastra, we read this kind of attitude from most advanced devotees, and we think we should imitate, we kind of think that we will imitate it and we become purified, and we think, I'm so bad, I'm so fallen, I'm so useless, I'm so horrible. And then we don't get the proper strength to perform our bhakti, because we are just like so much beating ourselves that we become even, the mind has a power. The mind can really even diminish us of our physical strength by our wrong attitude. So it's very, very important to really treat our mind as a child, Krishna's beloved child, who is maybe ignorant sometimes. Yeah, we make our mistakes, but for example, what is Srila Prabhupada's attitude towards our mistakes, even on the path as a devotee? He said, child, why we are learning to walk, isn't it? Each and every one of us is trying to walk our spiritual path. Somebody is already like a toddler, somebody is just like a very, very small little baby, but we are trying all to grow up and to walk. And what is that attitude towards these children, Srila Prabhupada's children? He said, as many times you fall while trying to walk, as many times you simply get up and try again. So Srila Prabhupada is completely forgiving everybody for everything. And ready to simply uplift us. He mentioned one very beautiful comparison, that a devotee is like a mango. And the mango is the most wonderful fruit, one of Krishna's favorite fruits, which will be offered to him when become mature. And how a mango becomes mature, most wonderful fruit to be offered to Krishna. Mango simply has to stay on the tree, isn't it? Sometimes we have this experience here in the Western world. We get these mangoes imported from India, Pakistan, I don't know, and sometimes they never mature. They are so hard, and sometimes you beat them with a hammer, in order to make them softer. No, they never mature because they are not simply connected to the tree. So yes, we have to somehow or another stay on the tree. No matter what we do or don't do, no matter how foolish we may sometimes behave, even as devotees, it does not matter. Srila Prabhupada once said also, his disciples were asking him, some devotee really misbehaved in some bad way. I forgot the exact occasion, what happened. And devotees were asking Srila Prabhupada, will you how to say, how is this English word? Will you abandon him, or will you throw him out from our movement? There is a special word, I forgot now. And Srila Prabhupada said, I can never throw out anybody. Lord Nityananda's mercy is unlimited. So that's the movement we are in. The movement of complete forgiveness and complete love and tolerance and compassion for everybody. And we have to, in order to, create least obstacles for ourselves, we have to be as compassionate as Srila Prabhupada towards everybody and towards ourselves as well. Yes, because we are also Srila Prabhupada's children, and he loves us so much. I was once, just the last thing I wanted to mention, I was many years ago on one seminar in Alvik, and there was one devotee couple who were who were trained professionally to take care of the kind of palliative care of the persons, devotees who are dying, who are leaving this world, or who have some extreme painful condition in their lives. And I remember most important point which those devotees were mentioning, how devotees are sometimes harming themselves by, again, this attitude of punishing ourselves for our mistakes. And they mentioned this point that we should really, with all sincerity, really view ourselves just as Krishna's children, Srila Prabhupada's children, and he is so forgiving and loving towards us. And we have to be so loving and caring for ourselves, because if we punish the child, the child may be damaged also for the rest of its life. So the child is not to be punished, it's just to be given love. And if we commit mistakes, we simply apologize and try better again. Yeah. So thank you so much for your kind attention. Anything else, Mataji? Yeah.
Speaking about mangoes,
Yeah.
green mangoes, they're not useless. I have heard wonderful persons, they speak how they make achar.
Oh.
You know, how they love this achar. Wow, cannot eat anything else. Well, that is achar.
Okay. Even Lord Chaitanya mercy, even the green mangoes can be offered to Krishna. Yes, exactly. So, in order to be offered to Krishna, we don't have to be mature mangoes. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I have no
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Maybe everybody knows this exactly, but I'm interested to hear if you can explain shortly the difference between the spiritual realm and spiritual identity. And you mentioned briefly, Tama, Raja and Sattva Guna. What is that?
Okay. Wow.
Maybe
Big
somebody
question.
doesn't know that.
Yeah. So these Sattva, Raja, Tama.
Short.
These are the gunas, qualities of the material existence. A mode of goodness, mode of passion. Guna is a quality. Yeah, it's a quality. It's qualities of material nature, and everything. It's important actually to understand that it's a very deep subject. I don't know. We don't have time for that. It's a really big thing, big topic. But even also, again, how not to be even judgmental towards others and judgmental towards ourselves. Our bodies, our qualities, even our qualities are simply a mixture of different gunas. For example, we have all mixtures of some maybe mode of goodness, and it's also changing sometimes the mood. For example, one day we wake up in the morning and we want to serve everybody, we want to go to the temple, we want to do the best. It's this mode of goodness or even higher spiritual attitude. Or another day we wake up in the morning and we say, no, I just stay in the bed. I'm completely fed up with everything, angry at everybody. So this is tamaguna, this is the quality of ignorance. Passion means not to wake up in the morning and say, today I have to make a lot of money, I have to destroy this person, he's really creating so much trouble for me. Whatever. For example, this is mode of passion, Rajaguna. So this is sometimes changing, or there is a predominant mood of a certain quality in a person. So this is just belonging to the material nature. It's not us. It's not really our eternal soul speaking. This is just a combination of different modes according to our karma. But the soul is there, and soul is there, giving, of course, power to everything. And the more awakened, let us say we can identify the soul as a desire. Soul is manifested as a desire. I want to live. I want to exist. And now, how I want to exist, how I want to be, it's when we are in material consciousness, is simply governed by these qualities, and according to karma, almost like a puppets, we act. But still, there is in human form of life, there is a comparison of a mirror, covered by dust, or smoke. Fire covered by smoke. So we have still the opportunity to choose. That's why there is a karma. We can express our more deeper desire. We have responsibility for our actions in human form of life. In lower species, there is no responsibility of our activities. But the more awakened we are, the more our spirit soul is awakened, the higher we are actually understanding what a power we have to decide and to live, and ultimately that desire becomes so purified by spiritual practice that our desire becomes simply to serve and love the Lord and all His parts and parcels, all human beings, according to however we can do. Then the ultimate, let us say, development of that consciousness, of that desire, is called prema, which is the highest advancement of completely pure love, when we are simply in ecstasy serving Krishna and all living beings. So I don't know, a few words. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very easy to identify oneself with the mood I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick now because I am sick. I am. That's what I am, and I cannot do anything else. I feel this feeling right now. That's me. But it's not.
Yes. Yes, it's a really enlightened state, like Srila Prabhupada mentioned. That it's actually one of the verses here further on when it's described that the devotee never suffers. And how is it? Like, for example, even Srila Prabhupada, he was sometimes suffering physically so much, especially at the end of his life. He was just bones and skin. And one doctor, when he saw him, he mentioned any other person would just scream in pain constantly. And Srila Prabhupada did not take any kind of morphines and things. And he was not screaming, he was to the last breath dictating the purports of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. But it is not that he did not feel that pain, but he was in such a high spiritual consciousness that actually these things of the material world did not affect him. He felt it, but he had so much more in his heart. So that higher consciousness was just so beautiful. But I can speak of that theoretically. But it's a way to go. But there is such a most wonderful consciousness waiting for all of us. Srila Prabhupada mentioned, I want that all of you, my followers, become like me. We know, of course, to become like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was general. We cannot be, or even it's not our aspirations, but we can be as enlightened, you can say, as Srila Prabhupada. And even one of the followers of Srila Prabhupada, Sridhar Maharaj, who left this world some years ago, such a beautiful example. He was very ill. He had a liver cancer and some kind of type of jaundice. I forgot. Please forgive me. Anyway, whatever. But he was really, really suffering for a long time, and then he was dying, leaving this world in Mayapur, Dham. And his body was completely swollen due to that disease. And devotees were coming to him, greet him, and they were coming with tears in their eyes because he was such a wonderful devotee, and they wanted to give him sort of like solace. But he was joking to the last moment. He just made them laugh, and he was like, for example, his belly was very big, and he said, "Yes, it will be boy. It will be boy." Like, anyway, it's such a wonderful personality, and he mentioned on his deathbed that how was this exact statement?
He said,
Thank you.
Everybody can feel pain. But suffering is not necessary.
Yeah, pain is unavoidable, but suffering is optional. That's the exact statement. Yes, that pain in this world is unavoidable for anybody. It's a really place of tears and a lot of crying for all of us, but suffering is optional. Yeah. So it's but this is really possible only in spiritual consciousness. So there is such a beautiful, most wonderful world for us, waiting more and more. Let us try to walk on that path, and if we fall, just get up again. And okay, thank you so much. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Sadhu Sangha ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Sundara ki jai.